Welcome to the current podcast. This is episode 101.
Yes, sir.
We got Mauricio in the
¿Cómo
building.
estamos?
How
Aquí
you
estamos.
doing, brother?
Este es la 818.
No que era el 503.
Ahorita no estamos en 503, Jerote.
Ah,
Pero
va,
esto para toda la gente en el 503.
va, va,
Vamos a
pa.
ver el podcast en español porque
Un
mi
poquito.
hermano Emanuel está
Emanuel,
también en
aquí lo
caja y él
tenemos en la
quiere...
caja.
Y él,
Exacto, es que estoy a través de la bandera de aquí,
hombre,
El Salvador, es que tengo que dejar el dialecto de español salir porque ustedes no lo dejan salir. Tenemos
Porque
que hablar
vamos,
y
Jerote.
informarle a la gente, ¿verdad?, de lo que está sucediendo.
Sí, pues sí, pues claro, Jerote.
Pues que
Claro,
uno tiene que desatarlo y dejarlo ir. Tú sabes, Bukele está en fuego, man.
Pues ese Jerote no está jugando, ese Jerote.
No, ese no. Eso le dijo a todos, que a todos los cholos, paren, tranquilícense. No les vamos a dar de comer.
Porque
y
sus
les dio-
homeboys no van a comer.
Y antes comían comida de lujo y ahora puro
Pura mierda.
frijoles y arroz.
Pura mierda.
No, hombre, todos los días y solo 2 veces al día.
Solo 2 veces al día.
No,
Puro
hombre.
desvergue.
Le dijo que ni iban a ver el sol, ni el sol ven. Pobrecito, pero está bueno, está limpiando el país.
Pero lo que me gustó es que cuando dijo que si los de derechos humanos los quieren que se los lleven,
Pues sí.
Que vacíen los cárceles,
Si ellos dicen, estás violando las leyes humanas, ¿verdad? Lo básico del humano, pues llévenselos, no hay problema. Pero ellos están lidiando con un problema que los otros no pueden entender. ¿Verdad? Hubo 62 muertes en un fin de semana y por causa de esta gente.
No, de veras, eso es lo que pasó y en realidad en otros gobiernos se ponen bien como, hay que, los pandilleros no vamos a hacer nada porque nos van a matar. No, por este Bukele saca los militares y...
Pues sí, hacerlo, pues para eso renovó el militar.
¿Entiendes?
Él puso dinero para renovar todo lo militar, les dio nuevo equipo, les dio nuevas armas, porque ellos no tenían los fusiles para combatir
Ni tenían los chalecos antibalas.
Ajá, no, chaleco contra balas, ni los carros blindados.
Nada.
No tenía nada para combatir contra las...
Bro, they got night vision goggles now.
Exacto. Tienen también
And this is for all my gringos out there. You can go to Salvi now, man. I mean, you'd be good. A lot of them already go to surf out there. So
Surf City.
So,
I recommend it.
Pueden ir a conocer el gato en Surf City. Él es un instructor allá.
Pero no el gato de Estrada.
This
Con todo respeto.
But yeah, I mean, that's the one thing that I would have to say when it comes to Salvi is that
For all of you that did not understand anything we just said,
yeah. Welcome to the current podcast.
welcome to the current podcast.
Welcome to the current podcast. Yeah, exactly.
Oh shit.
It's a great intro.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
I think this is your wake-up call to learn Spanish.
Straight up.
You gotta
Listen
learn
to some
Spanish.
Bad Bunny and you'll learn that shit.
Dedicate some songs.
Si tu novio no está más mal,
I see, that's Byron's
Oh,
favorite
shit.
line. You see,
entonces que no mames.
Bro. So yeah.
Type of shit.
Man, I'm gonna have to share this podcast.
Or if you want a sneaky link, and you need a sneaky link, you just dedicate "Lo siento, bebé," to the sneaky link, so they understand that they're just a sneaky link.
Luckily, we don't got none of those on this side over here on the producer side. I don't know about you, Byron, but
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
We can keep this shit public right here. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Sneaky
man.
links. I'm a Christian. I don't know what that is.
Bro, when I heard that term, I was like, what the fuck? Are you serious right now? Like the fact that we come up with a term for everything.
Bro,
Like,
you
what
got,
happened?
You gotta keep it on the down
what the
low,
fuck happened
bro.
to just friends with benefits, bro? Like,
Nah,
John,
bro.
that's what that shit is, bro.
That's what it was, bro. But hey, like that's that. Everybody knows that, bro. Now you gotta come up with something that's more incognito, sneaky link, bro. Like, it's more incognito.
I guess. Because
2022, man.
to me, it's like, like they say, there's levels to everything, bro.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a level when you're talking about friends with benefits and then sneaky link. I feel like you're
trying to hide something.
exactly, you know what I mean? Like friends with benefits, like people know you fucking around with that person. It's just like, to what degree, we don't know.
Mhm.
But at the same time, like when I see the things in the aspect where it's like sneaky link could be like you with somebody and you fucking around,
Mhm.
which like That's some foul shit, y'all.
Hey, but that's what our generation has come to, man.
Pretty much.
We've said, hey, no labels, no nothing, no rules, do whatever you want. So
And I partially can understand it.
when you blur the lines that way, what do you expect?
Yeah, exactly. And
you can't expect structure to come out when you blur the lines.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I mean,
You know what the problem is?
¿Qué onda?
They just don't pray hard enough.
They don't pray hard enough.
Yeah.
Hey, since we're talking about prayer, I want to ask you, Manny, this, bro.
Now,
real
we
quick,
went from sneaky link
shout
to
out.
prayer, bro. That's how you know this is the roller coaster podcast, bro. What's up? Give me your wild comparison right now.
Real quick, I just want to say shout out to one of our listeners from Purpose Based LA to tell me to say that. So almost
Okay, for sure. All right.
So they just don't pray hard enough.
I'm about to throw him a curveball.
Throw me the curveball
because I'm gonna ask Manny this question. I was posed this question by somebody at church actually.
Otro pecador, like all of us. Like all of us. I said all of us. All right, I'm clearing myself.
All right, bro. What's the point of prayer?
What's the point of prayer?
Yeah,
I don't know. You tell me what's the point of
prayer.
I know. The point of prayer is basically you having a communication. One, it's communication between you and God. You know, that's the point of prayer. If you listen to like when Jesus tells them how to pray, the thing is that a lot of them like how to pray. They just think like I'm gonna talk to myself and that's it. Because that's kind of like what it feels like you're talking to yourself in a way. But no, like Jesus gives an instruction of how to pray and what to say, right? Because when you pray, you're addressing someone, you're communicating to someplace. And that's the point of prayer is it's for you to communicate with your creator and it's having a conversation with the creator. That's the idea, at least, behind it.
Yeah.
All right, but what do you want to tell me?
No, the reason I asked this is, and I like the way you depicted it, because a lot of people do take it from a different perspective. They think that it's always going to be about you receiving something or you asking for something.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously, because there's different ways to interpret scripture, and there's people that are within church because it's like they want to benefit out of it, right? That's why the prosperity gospel is such a popular gospel, right? Where it's about like, hey, if you give God this amount of money, like God's gonna give you more amount of money, or like this is how you make money within the kingdom of God. Like you're seeing this happen. I mean, look at what happened in Hillsong recently. I don't know if you guys have seen the doc series that's on Discovery. And talking about the money greed that happened, and seeing how the funds were misallocated and people were becoming rich because of that, right? So because a church is something that's supposed to give back to the community, right? And help the widows and the orphan, right? If you read the book of James, the book of James has that verse where it says true religion is helping the widow and the orphan.
That you're gonna be like true religions are genes.
They are as well. So it's like when you think about that, like, yeah, like definitely you see that the church isn't doing that. There's some churches, not all churches, but some churches are not doing that. So yeah, when you see the prosperity churches, you gotta like be like, this is kind of a little weird.
All right, this is my next question though.
Oh, what's up?
Would you say that in the terms of when we're asking for things and all that stuff, would you say in part like God already knows what's gonna happen?
Well, all right. If we claim, right, because this all comes down to the questions of what you believe about God, right? If you believe Scripture and you believe that He says that He is all knowing and all omniscient, right? If you
It's one of my favorite verses where He's talking about how His thoughts are higher than our thoughts.
Exactly.
And we'll never comprehend His thoughts.
Exactly, because I'll put. All right, you brought up a perfect verse, right? So the concept of time is only restricted to us. We have created the construct of time, right? And we're slaves to the structure of time that we've created. God is not within our time limit or within our time zone. So it's like when you understand that His thoughts are higher than your thoughts and His ways are higher than your ways, you understand that you are two totally different, species. You're totally different things, right? And you understand as well that He is not limited to the things that you're limited to. And then you also understand that you cannot comprehend God outside of your own knowledge, right? That's the idea of the Bible. The idea of the Bible is he's already spoken and given an understanding of who he is in a way that you can comprehend it. But that's up to you to actually, read about it and interpret and understand who he is. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to having the conversation with God and also understanding like what prayer does, I mean, you have to think and understand like, okay, like, well, who does God mean to me and who is he to me in order to have that? Yeah.
Interesting, man. Interesting.
Is it?
Okay. I lost my voice. There.
You lost your voice?
Yeah.
What else do you want to say, Maury? I don't know. What else do you want to interrogate me?
all right, so basically, what I want to kind of end with my last statement or question
Yeah.
is like, since in the sense that God already knows what's gonna happen and all that
Yeah.
stuff, our prayers aren't exactly gonna change His mind. Would you
No,
say?
well, the thing is that your prayer needs to be aligned with his will.
Okay, so that's okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so when we pray, it should be aligning ourselves towards His will,
Yeah.
not really praying for what we want and things
Yeah.
like that. So that's exactly the point that this person was telling me was
Yeah.
like it's prayer was supposed to be about aligning yourself to what God is
Yeah.
already gonna do.
Because say for example, like, all right, someone can pray. This is gonna be exaggerating or wild, right? Someone can pray, God, I want 1,000 wives,
That is wild.
or like, God, I want 1,000 women. Someone can pray that, but does that align with the will of God? And how do you know what the will of God is? Well, you got to study scripture. Scripture's already there for you to understand what you need to align yourself in. So it's always the idea that God doesn't give you what you want, he gives you what you need, to keep it simple.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I was thinking that because that conversation came up. Sorry, excuse me, this weekend, and I just thought that it'd be a good thing to ask you, and I like what you had to say.
Mhm.
But something interesting happened in the last couple weeks, and it's that Elon Musk bought a lot of shares in Twitter,
Yeah.
which made him a majority stakeholder, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he owns more than Jack Dorsey.
Yeah, so
Yeah, so the ex-CEO.
they're all like, "Oh, is he gonna be on the board?" He didn't want to he didn't want to be put on the board, but something he just threw out there, which I really like, is that he wants to turn the Twitter HQ into a homeless shelter, and Bezos is actually supporting that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's actually like I don't know how many billion more richer than Bezos now.
Mm-hmm.
So Elon Musk and this project about turning Twitter HQ to homeless shelter. What do you think about that, Manny?
I mean, it's for a good cause. I mean, you're helping people out, but also at the same time, it's something that you got to be very careful about, and trying to get the people. What I mean by that, careful in the sense of getting the people the right care that they need, because there's different people that have different cares and needs. Some people are homeless, because of financial reasons. Some people are homeless, because of mental health. Some people are homeless by choice. So you have to see like, okay, like how do you get this person the right help, and entering this homeless shelter, and how do we help them, become successful people? It's like the project that they started here in LA, where it's like they'll give you a little hut to live in, and you can live in that little hut temporarily, but the goal is for you to, restore your life in order for you to get back on your feet, and get a job and start working and being someone that functions within society.
Yeah, and I shout out to Enzo because I believe he's gone to those shelters that you're talking about to cut their hair and all that.
And the thing is that there's opportunity there, but there's a lot of people who just want to live in the hut, and don't want to go back to work.
And you have to show that you're trying to kind of get
You're
a job
trying to
and
get
all
a
that
job
stuff.
because the hut is temporary. The hut is not meant.
It's like a springboard to get back on your feet.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So that's the things I think about. Like, all right, like if you do this, like for me, it's a positive to the community, but it's like, how are you gonna plan it? Like, they haven't really put anything out there to kind of like break that down. Like, how are they gonna plan it? How are they gonna get people the help that they need? Because yeah, what ends a lot of times, like, yeah, they're good deeds, but sometimes it doesn't help the person, become a functioning member of society.
Yeah, definitely. So I like that we're gonna do this, and I hope that a lot of more corporations and more Elon Musk's, better said, start changing the directions of how.
Well, I mean, look
corporations
at the
operate
threat.
and give back.
The threat. Well, not a threat, but I looked at it as a threat, like that he gave the UN, where they were saying that if a billionaire gave a certain amount of money that they could end world hunger. And he said, okay, on Twitter, he said, I would donate that if you give me a plan of how you can end it. And there was no response.
Yeah, I need a legitimate plan. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like you're just throwing things out there wildly, just asking the rich to
Yeah,
give
I
up
think
their
it's because the
funds.
UN said we
Yeah,
would need a certain amount of money to end world hunger,
exactly.
and then Elon Musk was like,
Yeah,
"All right, I'll sell these many stocks that'll give me that, but I need to see the plan," like you
yeah,
said.
exactly.
So yeah,
Because that's always the critique, right?
it's
You're
calling the
all
bluff.
yeah, exactly. He's calling their bluff, but it's the critique on like the rich need to give more, the rich need to give more. But the thing about the rich, and not all of them, but majority of them, they're willing to give stuff off. I mean, technically, if he gave that away, that's a write off for him. You know, he wouldn't have to pay taxes on certain things because that's a write off. But at the same time, it's like they don't mind giving money away as long as there's a purpose to it. You know, as
Yep.
long as there's a plan behind it. Most wealthy people would want to give their money away as long as there's a plan to it. They don't like to just give it just to give it.
Yeah,
You
as you
know.
should. Something just kind of turning to the next name. Caitlyn Jenner on the Full Sin podcast.
Well, I didn't get a chance to listen to this. I did hear it was good. I know that you actually listened to it. Can you break it down for us?
Yeah. So one thing that they were talking about was like her Caitlyn's transition and how she went from being biological man to now becoming a woman, and she went through the surgery as well.
Oh,
So
the
that's
full
something
surgery.
that's something that they asked her, and she said that she did it, and that a lot of people don't do it because it's expensive. And obviously, we're
Yeah.
talking about someone that's
Has the
wealthy.
funds and the means.
Yeah, so
Because she can afford all the medication to keep her in that way.
all that, you
Yeah.
know. So she go ahead and did that, and basically they were asking her about different things. And then there was one thing that she was talking about, how she would drive to Vegas, and like before, like, crossing state lines or some shit, she'd pull over. This is why she was bruised, by the way.
Mhm.
She'd pull over, she would cross dress and then go to Vegas and just become Caitlyn type of shit. So
Mm.
she was already doing this, back then, and all that type of
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, I think I've seen. I think it was an interview or something where I believe why am I forgetting her name? And she's the most famous one. Huh?
Kim.
Yeah, Kim. Where Kim talks about the fact that she saw him in the garage, and and found him like that. So yeah, there is history of like him.
Yeah.
There was him already doing that.
Yeah, so he talks about a lot about that kind of stuff, and how, how there was a time that he was just in Malibu before he kind of came out and really went the full transition. He was just living in Malibu, just like kind of secluded, and he spoke to one of his sons, and kind of told him about the transition and everything, and he accepted it, and he kind of went through all his children, because I think he has a couple of them, not just the Kendall sisters, the Jenner sisters. He has like more offspring out there
From like an outside marriage type of
yeah.
thing.
So he went through everything, and he told everybody, and then they were all accepting of it. And then when he went to go tell Kendall and Kylie, they were like, "Well, what should we call you?" And he'd be like, "Well, you can still call me dad." So like they'll still call her dad, but they do the pronoun thing where it's like they'll call her, they'll refer to her dad, but still word she, and it's like, and for the longest, I didn't understand that, and at some point I still kind of don't, if I'm just being completely honest.
It's difficult,
But at
especially
the same
because we
time,
don't
it's
deal
like,
with it.
yeah, at the same time, like, if someone really does tell me, "Hey, I want to be referred to as this or that,"
Yeah, it's no problem.
I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? But if I don't know off bat, don't get mad at me. Shit, I'm just being
Yeah.
honest with y'all. For
Don't
anybody
lash
listening to
out.
this, if that's might be transgender,
Have
anything,
compassion.
yes, I'm still a novice to this whole thing. You know what I mean? To this progressive movement, if you will. But kind of going back to Caitlyn Jenner, it's interesting because they touched the whole politic thing, and she's a conservative.
Yeah.
She's Republican and all that stuff. So
She was trying to run for governor
yeah,
in
and
California.
yeah, and she was just talking about how expensive it is and to run for office, and how she would vote for Trump. Actually, she was saying things like that. Um, how she's also in support of women's sports, and how she doesn't think it's fair that
Yeah, she doesn't think it's fair that guys go into sports for the women's division.
transgender
Yeah.
females that have made the transgender females that have made the transition. She don't think it's fair that they do that type of stuff basically and go into female sports and dominate essentially. So
especially because he was an Olympian. He
Yeah.
knows the dedication.
he knows the struggle with them
He
and all
knows
that.
the struggle. Like he's been on that other side, so he's kind of like the perfect spokesperson.
Yeah.
For that.
And he was also talking about how he at some point got drafted in the NBA. He didn't play, but he got drafted to the Kansas City Kings at that moment.
Mhm.
And talks about different things like that, and how he wanted to auction off a jersey to for a special cause, and they didn't do it. He talks about his passion for racing, how he started a racing a female racing uh crew or something like that, and talks about how he loves to go out. How he has more fun time going out with girls, and the conversations with girls are better than with men and all that. Um, and yeah, and talks about all that. He talks about how he was with OJ 2 days before the fucking murder, things like that. So it's a very interesting podcast. Shout out to the Nog Boys and Full Send. I think still the number 2 podcast out there. Uh, what I do like to get on them is that we started the current podcast before them, but that's for a different conversation. But yeah, that was the Caitlyn Jenner on the Full Send podcast. I like their guests. They have a lot of good guests. It's funny. There was a comment on the YouTube, and it was like, "Shout out to Bob for having his sneaky link on the podcast."
Bro.
That's the shit that
Bro,
had me like, bro. The
they
internet
really
is
dislike
just
Bob, bro.
the internet's never gonna
Yeah,
fucking
dinner is undefeated, bro. They really don't like Bob.
yeah. But that it was a good podcast. I think it was very educational and whatnot. And shout out to Caitlyn Jenner, man. I think she mentioned certain things about Kanye and whatnot, like nothing bad, obviously, and just different.
Nah, they've always
They
had a
talked about all that type of stuff.
positive relationship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So
I mean, the interesting to me, going to their situation a little bit is the photos where they say like a woman can talk trash about a man all she wants, but the kids show the truth. And there's like a picture of like none of the kids go with their mom, like they all just want to go around Kanye,
yeah,
which shows a lot about like how he cares for them.
yeah, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But kind of again switching to the next thing. This whole thing after, I mean, it's kind of been like chapters of it. Obviously, they went on the red table and all this shit happened between Jada and
Man.
Will, and falling up to the Oscars this year when he slapped the shit out of Chris Rock. All that stuff has now just brought out more in the relationship, and she recently posted a video of him, where she was trying to like say, "Oh, do you think the red table has helped us? This, and that," and the person that talks
She's
to us,
filming him,
yeah, like
in his
unwantedly
house,
and whatnot. And
and he's being so calm not to try to snap on her.
you can see
because
how
he's on
uncomfortable he
camera.
is.
Yeah, because he's in his own house, bro. That's like the one place where you don't want to be filmed. You get filmed for a living. And it's like you get to your house, you want to relax. You don't want that to happen. And for her to try to get a reaction out of him and whatnot, like, nah, nobody wants that, dude, once you get home. If your life is about being in front of a camera, you're going to be like, why are you filming me? Which is his reaction was, like, why are you filming? Why are you doing this? I just think it's insane how she starts saying that she never wanted to be married to him,
Yeah, that
and
shit.
and then just says that she married him while being crying and all that. And I'm just like, damn, bro, like how much more damage can this woman do, man? Like I just think that's freaking sad, because I mean she just keeps going at him.
Yeah, she didn't give him a break at all.
Nah.
And this is the video that we're talking about here. If you could put it by real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Where she's kind of just filming him wantedly. You can see how uncomfortable he is. He's
Yeah,
just
and he's
like,
trying to think of like, all right, how do I say this?
yeah, and he's like, yo, social media is the
Yeah.
one place that I don't want to be doing
Yeah.
this type of shit on. And I totally understand this guy, man. Like,
and then she tries to play it off like, oh, we ain't getting
yeah,
enough
she's
help.
like, yeah, this is the shit I'm dealing. This type of shit
Yeah.
I'm dealing with. It's like, really, bro? Like
Like,
yeah, not that type of couple. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the one thing that like it just sucks to see them like.
So this was just recent then.
This was literally in the last couple days, bro.
Yeah, a couple days.
She's
ago.
just dragging him, and to her to say she didn't want to get married and all that shit's like, you clearly married him because of the benefit of it. Couldn't marry Pac. That nigga did. I'm sorry, like, shh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I still can't get over the fact that she had, Willow
Bro,
write a letter.
I wonder if that's really, really, really legit though.
It could be just a rumor, but still, that's a wild ass rumor.
That's wild, and like, I don't know, man. But at the same time, like, there's just the interviews of her talking in the way that she talks about him
Makes
like,
it a possibility.
yeah. Because if
Wait.
she's talking like that on an interview, like, who knows what she's like? She talked to him. I mean, to Willow and to Jaden at this point, like, this is a friend that I had or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, given that these kids are growing up and they have relationships and friendships and all that stuff, she's like, yeah, this is someone that I, dated or grew around and cared about me and all that stuff. And I wouldn't doubt it.
Mhm.
That right there. I mean, I'm about to put it back on.
Yeah. This is supposed to be like Willow, you know, writing this, asking like,
I
oh,
have to see
please.
another letter of hers so I can
Yeah.
do my cross examination here.
She says, I know
Read it,
you're,
Byron.
you're, out-
Read
you're
it for us since you're
yeah,
All right,
go for it,
says
Byron.
it says, "Dear Tupac, I know you are alive someplace. I think that my mommy really misses. Yeah, my mommy really misses you. Can you please come back can you come back so mommy and me can be happy? I wish you were here. Dot dot dot. I really do. Love, Willow."
Yeah, bro.
That's wild.
Wild.
Or it's like, it could also be like, she's just dictating to a child what to write. But it's just wild, bro. Like, for that to even exist
Mm-hmm.
and for that to even be a rumor, because they haven't even tried to come out and debunk it, and be like, nah, that never happened, or Willow hasn't even said anything either. But it's just like, that's a wild thing to just have out there.
Yeah, it is. And again, this is just adding to all the stuff that's going
For
on.
me, it
But
just,
again, if
yeah.
Enzo were here, would be saying this is all distraction.
It is in a sense, but it's
It is,
like,
though. It is.
it's just, to me, it's just sad, you know? It's just sad because where it could end up. Because I think about, like, what of this dude's mental health? We've talked a lot about mental health for men. And to hear that the woman that you decided to marry tells you that she never wanted to marry you. That the woman that you have kids with, is ungrateful with you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all that stuff, it's kind of like, damn.
We kind of mentioned this a couple of podcasts ago, I think, when we're talking about it. It's the sins of a father, though, man. And in this case, he is the father in this family. And the reason I bring this up is because there's stuff in the past that I'm pretty sure this dude,
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is
He's not a saint either.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that right there is a big thing for him to, like, for it to be coming out now. And it's like,
Well, from my understanding, they've always been open, right?
yeah,
Eh,
exactly.
And it's like she had never exercised that. He was the one that was always exercising that until she did.
And social media is a big thing now too.
Yeah, definitely. So it's changed the scales. It's changed the way that things work and the way things function. So, I mean, when you see that, that's where you're like, man, it sucks for him. Like, you bring up a very valid point, but at the same time, I'm like, man, that sucks for him. I don't know, like, because I try to, like, I think of myself like, bro, I would feel distraught, dude, if the girl that you married is telling you, like, never wanted to marry you. Like, I don't know, that's kind of a really horrible place,
Yeah, bro, it's not the best feeling at all. I'll tell you that.
My bad.
Not the best feeling. But in other news,
Another news.
shit,
Another.
Lo siento, bebé.
uh, oh man, that's some. We need to start doing Patreon episodes, y'all. We need to start paying for this shit, because man,
That's
y'all
a juicy
know.
story, but that's
Juicy.
That's for the Patreon.
That's for the Patreon. When we get there, you know what I mean. There was this one thing that I just want to touch really quickly. That Biden made some new laws against, like, guns that you can basically make at home.
For your 3D printer?
Yeah, like anything like that,
Okay.
basically.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just something that's being added to the gun laws and whatnot. Again, distraction. We're being told more about this and over this.
I mean, not necessarily, because I mean, when you have a manufacturer design the gun, there's a serial number, so like that's how the gun is trackable, right? When someone designs a gun at home, there is no serial number. It's a in-home design.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got to find a way to kind of prevent that, and also find a way to make them trackable.
Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, yes, I get what you're saying, that it could be a distraction, in the sense that, like, it goes back to the old argument, of conservative versus Democrat, and people who own guns and people who don't own guns. But I see it more from, like, the manufacturing standpoint. It's like, Well, if you're making a gun at home, whether it be from a 3D printer, that's untraceable in a sense, you know. Unless somehow you have to register the design that you did in your 3D printer. So I don't know if that's the case though.
Yeah, it's weird. Um, this is another thing I just want to bring really quickly. You know how Britney Spears was on that whole thing where she was like her dad was basically controlling everything.
Yeah, the conservatorship.
So one thing about that conservatorship is that she had to have an IUD
Mm-hmm.
in within her, which is basically preventing her pregnancy, and
Yeah, and she's pregnant now.
she's pregnant now.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, what do you
Yeah.
think about that being in her conservatorship?
I mean, she already has kids, from my
Yep, she
understanding.
does.
So it's kind of like, why do you need more? She's pregnant again, but right now, what is she, like, late 30s? Late 30s, I
Going into
believe,
40s, I think so,
right? Or 40s.
something like that.
Yeah, I mean, bro, to give birth at that age, very dangerous. First of all, not only dangerous. I mean, she's gonna have to spend a lot of money
Yeah,
to
she's 40. She's 40.
yeah, she's gonna have to spend a lot of money to keep that fetus alive, and try to give it to term.
I think she'll be fine with that.
But I mean, I don't know, man. She kind of trips me out, you know, because you could tell how wild she got right after the conservatorship was done, bro. Where she was practically almost posing nude out there, bro. Like, and I was just like, and it trips me out is that she acts like a little girl, But yeah, I'm like, I don't know, man. If she feels that she can do it, then hey, by all means, like, you do you.
Boo boo. Yeah, man. So is there anything else you got, Manny?
Nah, not
Can't-
at the top of the dome.
I can't think of anything right now myself.
Nah.
One thing is that I did hear there's a lot of COVID cases spiking up in China again.
Yeah.
Shan-
Didn't Philly? I believe Philly instated their mask mandate
A
again.
lot of places are starting to do that, and they're
Yeah.
asking, is SoCal next?
I believe in China. In
Oh,
China, they're killing their pets.
Bullshit.
They're throwing them out to the streets. They don't want any COVID people having, like, cats or dogs, and they're just killing them. They're not even eating them. They're just killing them or just tossing them out into the street.
Man, I wouldn't want them to eat them
Um,
either, man. If I'm being honest with
Well, technically, they do eat them. I mean, it is part of their thing, But I mean,
Pause.
yeah, that's not every Asian, you guys. That's a specific region that I'm talking about. But I mean, yeah, Hong Kong is, from my understanding, has been in lockdown.
you. Hong Kong.
Yeah, has been in lockdown for a few already.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, this kind of whole thing took a back seat because of everything else that's going on. And people just wanted to be over. But I mean, we still haven't really. I don't think we've had like a firm solution to it yet.
Yeah, not all the way. I mean, obviously we're like on our fourth booster shot. Not that I've
Yeah.
taken it. Just being honest with y'all, I'm not taking a fourth booster shot. Like,
Man, how many are we gonna get to 50?
most likely like 69 around there.
this motherfucker.
Tudush.
Did it?
Yeah.
So,
But real quick, if you guys don't mind, let me just implement a quick
Nah, bro.
Nah,
accountability.
go for.
kind of mind, bro. Just kidding, bro.
Hopefully
I
we
wanted to go home, Byron.
Alright,
I'm just
man.
messing
Let's cut
with
it
you.
off real quick,
I'm
you
just
know what I'm
I'm just messing with you, dude. I'm just messing
Nah.
with you. What about accountability?
I'm
bro?
also trying to bring it up for next week, so because
Uh-huh.
gotta include Enzo for it too. But
Mm.
how you guys feel with this whole gym venture the past 2 months almost, man? Because I feel like honestly, not to sound biased, and because
Well, you guys have been going this whole entire time. I
But-
started out the third week of January. So, because I went 2 weeks of January, then I've gone with you guys the full month of February, the full month of March, and now April.
Yeah, because honestly, I was gonna say I feel like both of you guys been going in real hard. Pause.
I mean, yeah, we've been consistent. I mean, Maury has, implemented even more, especially when it comes to the cardio and stuff like that. This dude's going in at 5 a.m. I mean, that's dedication right
5
there.
in the morning.
So yeah, man, this guy's putting in the work. You're gonna see those results in a few months. My boy's gonna be jacked.
So are you, bro. So are you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're feeling good. We gotta just, I think, step it up. All of us do. Even though I started going at 5 in the morning, and I I gotta keep myself as consistent as possible because that's the hardest part. If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
You've been going this week too.
This week, if I'm being honest, I haven't gone. Tomorrow I'm gonna go though.
Sick.
Yeah, man, but you've been building a habit, which is important.
Building a habit, and I'm
And
also
building
been,
upon yourself too.
and building this
Skills.
this studio,
Yeah.
obviously too.
Yeah.
Because I had to completely transform it within the last week, and I've spent a lot of hours and a lot of days spending hours late here and all that to get it to where it is right now. So that's taking a toll on me, on my energy and all that stuff. So, and then this is Easter week, which is a very busy week for me. So I have to also be mindful of that. But I need
Guys,
to
all he has to do
go
is
in
an
there.
egg hunt. He's just being wild.
That's it. That's it.
That's it, bro. It's
That's
an
it.
egg hunt, bro.
Yep.
Just be real, bro. That's what the church wants you to do, bro. Like,
And essentially, bro. So egg hunt starts tomorrow, and what's basically been going on, but it continues tomorrow. Today was
Right.
like the off day from that, and tomorrow we go at it, and we just got to start with
Alright.
the morning runs and all that
I
stuff,
better see that bunny suit,
like John Ireland today on ESPN LA.
right?
What I want to close with is Stephen Hawking. Before he died, he warned everybody to never like send any signal or anything out to like the deep space and all that stuff, not to communicate with aliens and all that stuff, because it could be catastrophic. And they're ignoring his warnings and sending out a signal.
Well, we'll see what ends up happening, right? He studied. I think it was interesting. He was studying Albert Einstein's theory on
Relativity.
yeah, relativity, but it's also on black holes. It's like when you think about, and the concept and the idea behind a black hole, and yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. I mean, I know a few years ago they were having this whole thing of a planet was gonna crash into our planet, but it diverted. I mean, there's also been, I think, a few years ago where they were saying a meteor was gonna hit, diverted.
Well, this is
as
also
well.
on the eve of
So-
a UFO crash landing in Alaska. I don't know if
Yeah.
you saw that.
But here's the other thing, right?
Like-
The UFO stuff happened after World War II ended. So that's like it's like the whole like sightings and all that. Like, so that's the other thing. It's like, is it just a distraction that we think
Well,
that's
you
out
got to
there?
think about the timeline you're talking about.
Right?
In World War II is when we started to have more planes and all that involved. So that's when it started getting sighted more because people flying were seeing shit zoom past by them, bro,
Mhm.
at speeds they couldn't even explain. So I think as technologies advance, we start to see things more and more. That's why people in Mexico at the border are taking videos of shit they see out there, and all that stuff. So
Mhm.
I think just technology exposes things more and more as we go, you know what I mean? And now that we're able to send signals out there, who knows who responds, man? Maybe they're responding right now because they're saying a UFO or a plane of some sort landed in Alaska, and it made this really weird worm-shaped cloud. So that's just going on, man. Alaska's right next to Russia. They could be testing shit there too, man. They could have already contacted aliens. Joe Rogan believes that there's aliens. I believe him too, bro. I believe we've either already
I mean,
contacted them.
I don't think I
or-
don't think of it in the way like that. Like movies think about it, like a little green Martian type of thing. I don't think about it like that. But I do think
No,
that,
I think
that
about
they're-
it. I think about it as fucking Marvel, bro. It's scrolls, bro. They can fucking shapeshift into one of us, bro. And
So a demon. All right.
maybe not a demon.
I mean, that's what the Bible already does them.
Shapeshifters are demons or what?
Huh?
Shapeshifters are demons.
I mean, the concept of the Bible, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, who knows, bro?
Yeah.
Who's to say? But yeah,
Nah, for me, it's like I do believe that there has to be more life than just us. I do believe that because when you look at the solar system, you look at our galaxy, and then there's more galaxies than ours. I'm like, we can't just think we're the only ones, So I do believe there's life out there. I just don't think of it like the little green alien, like the way we think of it.
no Yodas or ETs.
Nah, I think it's gonna be something different. Like because the thing is that we're trying to picture something
You're picturing a female alien with 3 tits or what?
Nah. We're picturing something that's out of our
Algo
imagination.
totito.
And if you want to see one of those, bro, watch Good Luck Chuck. Go to the ending, and you'll see one. Good night, y'all.
Peace.